Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Emily and I make videos about books and about beauty. And today we're going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette video. I love these types of videos and I'm going to be using the Colourpop and Frozen 2 collaboration palette, the Elsa palette. So it's these gorgeous, gorgeous shades. It's kind of hard in this lighting, but we've got 9 beautiful shades that we are going to be using to make 3 very different looks, one really wearable, one a little more glam, and one that's kind of colorful. So I hope that you will stick around and keep watching. And yeah, I think it's time to get into the video. Also, you're gonna notice I've got a brand new intro, which I'm really excited about. I will link the wonderful, wonderful channel. Her name is Isabella down below. She makes these amazing things for people to just use for free, and she says that you don't even have to credit her, which is crazy, but please check out her channel and her amazing, amazing editing. She also posts like username ideas and all kinds of really creative stuff. So, hope you enjoy the new intro, and I hope you enjoy the 3 looks with my Elsa palette.
Honey?
So today with our Elsa Frozen 2 Colourpop palette, we are going to be creating a nice, hello, here's my little filming setup. We're going to be creating a nice icy blue look. So I'm going to be using the shade Water, this blue shade in here, and the shade Ice Crystals, which is the nice cool metallic silver down here. So I'm really just going to be primarily using those two, and I might use a little bit of Cuddle Close depending on how I'm feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and take got my little cup of brushes down here, and since I keep them all in one cup, sometimes it's hard to find the right one, especially when half of them are like this same brush from e.l.f. But I'm going to take this e.l.f. brush, and I can't remember what it's called because I've tried to rebuy it and I buy the wrong one every time, so it's like the blending brush or the crease brush or something like that. And I'm just going to tap that in the shade Water right here, and I'm going to use Water, focus it in the outer corner. This palette is really nice. Most of the Colourpop 9-pan palettes don't have, at least the ones that come in the cardboard packaging don't have a mirror, but I like that this one does. So I'm just going to take that blue and start by blending it, and this blue blends out to kind of a grayish blue, but I'm just going to make sure there's a nice base there because I'm not using a transition shade in my crease. I'm going to have a nice blended smoky blue on the outer kind of half of my eye. And like most people, my eyes are shaped slightly different, so sometimes I will do the exact same thing and it'll look wrong on one eye, but that is okay. That is why you have to get to know your own face and your own eye shape. You can watch YouTubers for tips, but you have to remember everything's going to look different on you because your eyes are shaped uniquely, beautifully to your own face. Alright, so I've got that kind of base throughout the crease and on the outer half of my lid. Nice and blended, and I'm going to take a different brush now. I'm going to use this one. This is from a Wet n Wild set, but the brush is kind of shaped like this. It's a little bit denser than that blending brush, but honestly it's like kind of similar. And I'm going to take that same blue shade Water and just pack a little more of that into the outer corner, just to bring some of that vibrancy back because I did blend it out so much. Alright, and then I'm going to take my trusty original e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. It's my first makeup brush ever, and it is taped together because the barrel got separated. I'm going to take this brush and dip it into that silver shade Ice Crystals and put that on kind of the inner half of my lid. It's going to be, you see how I left part of my lid blank here? So I'm going to blend it in through the blank part. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, the part with no shadow on it, and then part way into the blue so that they blend together. And for this, I'm just going to use like a patting motion. And this shadow is so punchy silver. I absolutely love this. And I know that anytime I want a silver in the future, I'm definitely going to reach into this palette. A lot of the times I like to spray my brush so that I'm using a wet shimmer so that it becomes more vibrant. But this one doesn't need it. As you can see, that was just a little bit of patting it on, and it's like pretty silver. And then I'm going to take that same Wet n Wild brush I was using earlier, grab a little more of the blue, and just kind of blend it together. since that silver is so vibrant, I do want to make sure that the blue is vibrant and not too smoked out. And I always do my eyes first because I tend to like to play with different colors, and sometimes I put eye makeup on and then I take it all the way off and I don't want to remove my face makeup. But especially when you're using like blue and purple shades, these don't have too much fallout, but I like to be able to go kind of crazy and not worry about ruining my face makeup. I used to always do my face makeup first, but then once I started playing with more colorful shades, if you get any fallout from blue or purple especially, it kind of collects in here, especially if you try to wipe it away or blend it in, and then it makes your dark circles look even darker than they already were. All right, so I tend to go back and forth between the shades that I'm using just to get kind of that perfect blend in the middle. I don't want this to look too harsh. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take this e.l.f. brush that looks almost exactly the same as the other one I used, but you can kind of see the difference in the shape of the brush. This one is better for blending. It's a little bit longer, a little bit fluffier. So I am just gonna take that and this is clean, and just lightly blend the outer edge. All right, so there is, like I said, just 2 eyeshadows, my 2 eyeshadow look. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, my face, blush, and probably a little bit of shadow on the lower lash line, and I will be right back. All right, so here is the final finished look. So I did finish the rest of my makeup, and I got dressed and I did my hair. So of course, what you saw me do with the Elsa palette is what's on my eyes, and I used the same. I just used the blue shade, what's it called? Water, on my lower lash line. I also used this silver cream gel liner from Colourpop. I love these liners. I used it on the top and on the waterline as well. These are amazing. They're a little bit tricky to work with on the lid. They can kind of pull and be like a little bit dry, but on the lower lash line, or on the waterline, they will stay all day. It's really impressive. Even these light colors like silver, and I've got a bright yellow one, stay all day. So, and for blush, I used this e.l.f. blush palette. I just used this shade right here. This is technically the palette for darker skin tones, but I looked at the one for lighter skin tones and I didn't like the shades as much. They were a little more cool toned, and in this one they're a little warmer, except for this one. This pink is a little cooler. So I got the darker one, and it's very pigmented, so I tried to go in with a light hand, and then I usually tap a little bit more of my tinted moisturizer on over top, but I like the way that these shades look better on me. And then I used for highlighter this beautiful duochrome. I'm trying to get it to it's hard to see, but it's like a beautifully bluish white Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighter. This one was limited edition, and the shade was called Winter Falls in LA, but a lot of the times Wet n Wild will make something limited edition and then they'll bring it back just with like a different name and slightly different packaging. So I'll try to see if there's a similar version of this, but I thought the bluish white was really good for this icy kind of look. And then on my lips, I've got this Bite Beauty, I don't even know what this product is called, Bite Beauty Matte Cream Lip Crayon in the shade Glacé. So it's kind of like a nice mauve-y shade, and over top of it I put this Almay Goddess Gloss in, it doesn't have a shade on here, but it's like a light frosty pink. So I tried the frosty pink by itself and it looked just like, is a little too much for my personal taste. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this look, and make sure that you keep watching for the other 2 looks with the Elsa palette. Alright my friends, so it is a new day and it is time for a new look with the Elsa, Frozen 2, and Colourpop palette. Today we're going to be doing a pretty easy wearable look. I wear, you know, every color, every type of look, but we're going to do a more traditionally wearable look with the shade Fire and the shade Northern Lights. I'm going to go ahead and take my trusty e.l.f. blending brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into Fire, and I'm just going to put that all through the crease. And honestly, sometimes I like to wear my eyeshadow with just a neutral, like, transition type shade in the crease and not even do anything else, because I think this adds a lot of dimension to the eye. But we're going to add a shimmer today because it would be kind of silly to say I'm doing a look with the palette and only use one shade and not even do that much with it. It'd be like a neutral matte. So I'm going to put a shimmer on the lid. Now that I've blended that all through the crease, I'm going to take my other most trusty e.l.f. eyeshadow brush, Those are like the two oldest brushes I own. And I'm going to go ahead and go into Northern Lights. I know my shade looks kind of funny, but that's because I dropped the palette and caught it by that shade, so my thumb kind of got stuck in there. But I am just going to put that all over the lid. So this shimmer is not quite as punchy as, say, like the silver in this palette, but I really like that it's a little bit more subtle because it makes it easier to create a really wearable look like this. Or you can always wet the brush. That basically intensifies any shimmer. It's one of my favorite tricks to kind of get more versatility out of an eyeshadow. Alright, so that is a pretty simple look, right? It's super easy. That took me like 2 minutes maybe to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back with the finished look. Alright, so this is the finished look. So you guys saw me use the Frozen 2 palette on my eyes. I just used Fire and Northern Lights. It was really, really simple, and then I took a little bit of my favorite black eyeliner, the Maybelline Master Precise All Day Liquid Liner. I can never remember the name of this product, but I just did I tried to do a really thin line. It was a little thicker than I meant it to be, but it turned out okay. And I used, for blush, I used the e.l.f. Primer Infused Shimmer Blush in Brilliant Mauve. For highlight, I used the e.l.f., I don't remember what this is called. I think it's like their baked eyeliner. No, this is not eyeliner. Their baked highlighter formula in the shade, it's like upside down, Moonlight Pearls. And I use the e.l.f., a lot of e.l.f. products today. I use this e.l.f. lip tint, I think it was called, in the shade Dewy Berry. So yes, this is today's look with the Elsa palette, and I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and do look number 3. I've already primed my eyes, and we are going to be doing a little more of a dramatic look today. I am kind of going to let it guide me as we go, but I definitely want to use this shade here, Spindrift. Yeah, Spindrift, this nice deep reddish burgundy type shade. It comes out looking a little more reddish purple on the eyes. It's gorgeous. I've used this one before. And I think I want to use Cuddle Close, this white shade up here that actually pulls a little bit pink when you put it on the eye too, so I think they'll go really nicely together. And I might use some of the other shades too, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to take my trusty e.l.f. brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dip into Spindrift. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the outer corner. I'm starting with kind of a light blended wash, and then I'm going to go ahead and concentrate it in there pretty soon. So the trick with working with bold, dark colors like this is to really be patient. Keep blending, keep blending, keep blending. This is not the type of color you want to work with if you're going for a quick eye look, but if you just keep blending, it's not going to look as crazy when you keep going with it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take this smaller brush from Wet n Wild. It is kind of a similar shape to the e.l.f. brush, but it's a little bit denser and kind of has more of like a, I don't know, a flat tip. So I like this one for concentrating the color a little more. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that same color, and I'm going to keep adding it to the outer corner of my eye. I'm going to start by just kind of patting it on. I kept blending it and washed it out a little more, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring back some of the intensity of the maroon color with this brush. Alright, so I've got a fluffier brush. I shouldn't put that one back. So this one's smaller and denser, and this one's a little bit longer and fluffier, and this one has no shadow on it right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and go around the outside and just blend that just a little bit more. I think I might tap into Fire I should probably actually show you the shade. I'm going to tap into Fire, which is this shade right here, just a tiny bit, and use that to kind of blend this color out. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with the blend of that. This is why I always do my eyes first and my face makeup after, because that's going to be a lot easier to clean up since I don't have any face makeup on. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my trusty e.l.f. eyeshadow brush, right? You know it's old when it's just called an eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to go into that white kind of pinky white duochrome almost. I don't even know what to call this shade. I don't know if it really counts as a duochrome, but it really looks white in the pan. I'm trying to show this to you in a way that doesn't reflect. Yeah, see, it really looks white in the pan, but then when you put it on the eye, it pulls a lot more pink, which I think is perfect to use with a color like this, which is like kind of a purpley pink maroon color. So I'm just gonna get some of that on my brush, and then I am actually going to spray my brush today. I know I've talked about that in the past, so I'm just gonna use this tiny little Koki setting spray, just a little mini mattifying setting spray. I don't like mattifying sprays on my face, but I buy whatever is on sale to kind of spritz my brush. So I'm just gonna give it a little spritz and then go ahead and tap that onto the lid. So I'm just gonna gently tap that onto my lid. And do you see how pink that starts to pull? Even the part here where there was no maroon shadow, this Cuddle Close color is really interesting. How I was very surprised the first time I put it on my eyes, and I thought it was gonna be a pure shimmery white, and then it kind of ended up pink. But once you know that, it turns out pretty wonderful. Alright, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take this clean e.l.f. blending brush and just blend just a little tiny bit. I don't want to take away any of that shimmer. I just want to make sure that it up here blends nicely. And I usually put kind of like a bone colored matte under my brow, and that sort of helps to blend everything together. So even if the line is a little bit harsh, especially if you're working with a bright color or a darker color, something like that around the top edge can be really helpful. So when you look at that, sometimes I feel like it's kind of hard to tell, but it's only two shadow shades. So I am actually really happy with that. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but it ended up a lot better even than I thought it was going to. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back with the final look. All right, so here is the finished look. I'm really happy with this one. It's a little different than how I thought it was going to turn out, but I love the way that this burgundy color kind of blends out and how it combines with the whitish pinkish color. Really happy with it. So for my eyes, you guys saw me use the Frozen palette, and I used this color and a little bit of this one. On my lower lash line, I did Fire with a little bit of Spindrift. Fire with a little bit of Spindrift on the outside. It blended it out. I added a wing and some mascara. For my blush, I used the e.l.f. blush palette, and I used this, now I can't remember what color I used. I just did it. Oh no, I used this shade up here. It's kind of like a peachy brown color. Like I said before, this is technically the palette for like the dark palette, but the light palette was mostly cooler tones that I didn't like as much, so I went with this one. And for the highlighter, I used the same e.l.f. baked highlighter in Moonlight Pearls. And on my waterline, I used this Laura Geller highlighter. Oh my gosh, I think I did that last time too. I used this Laura Geller eyeliner in Rose Gold. For my lips, I tried on like 6 different lip colors because I couldn't decide what I wanted to go for, but I ended up using the Koki lip liner in the shade Nude. I colored in all my lips. I'm really struggling to talk today. I filled in my whole lip with the Koki Nude lip liner. It's hopeless. And then over top of that, I used the Colourpop Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Doozy. So, oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and checking out the different looks that I did. I hope that you enjoyed them. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos. I do beauty on Saturdays and books on Tuesdays. And make sure you check out my blog, which is linked in the description. All of the products that I use, whether I mention them or not, will be linked in the description. And I think that's all. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And I would love to have a comment down below. Anything you want to comment on. Tell me which look was your favorite. All right, bye guys.